just to bring you
Top of the morning from beautiful downtown Baltimore.
Hi, to top of the morning. Top of the morning to all of you. Hi, top of the morning.
Welcome, Baltimore, to Top of the Morning. We're here at Top of the World at the World Trade Center in Baltimore. I'm Kevin Costello.
And I'm Teena Byrd.
And we are here today with a wonderful gentleman by the name of Robert Christy, so don't change the dial. We will be right back. Hello, welcome back to Top of the Morning. We are here with film director Robert Christy, as promised. Tina?
Robert, I'm so glad to have you here. I'm excited about so many of your projects. We've worked together on Implied Warranty. I underview your director. Can you tell us a little bit more about that film and what your hopes for it are?
Yeah, Implied Warranty is like a 20-minute short that has that kind of Twilight Zone-y feel to it. And it's about a young man who is in the midst of a lawsuit, and it's quite mysterious as to who's suing him. So we don't want to give away too much, but it's actually going to go into some of the bigger major festivals, you know, thanks to a few credentials here and there where people are saying, let me see your stuff, you know, that kind of thing. So now, unfortunately, I don't have a clip, because all of our raw footage is with our editor. Yes, we have a very excellent editor by the name of Kevin Tan, who himself is a filmmaker and is doing this huge project called Seeking Closure 2012, which has been with trailers on YouTube with like 1 million and 2 million hits. So it's gathered quite a bit of interest.
Wow, fantastic. And I know that we do have a clip of your critically well-received movie, The Sobbing Stone. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
The Sobbing Stone has really been riding its own waves. In 2006, it was nominated for Best Picture at a European festival in Milan, Italy. And a distributor went in and picked it up. It's been just all over the internet, even showing in places like UK, Japan. So it's, you know, it's been, you wonder about some of the distributors, you know, we haven't seen, you know, much money. But I certainly am glad for the exposure.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a matter of fact, if you want to hold on just 1 second, we'll take a look at that clip.
Come on, you guys, this is getting us nowhere.
Who made you the judge over us?
I'm not judging, I'm just
giving us your brand of absolutes, we know.
my usual brand of absolutes. You act as if I'm claiming to be God.
Hey, listen, if the shoe fits, wear it.
So let's face it, if it wasn't for religious fanatics, we wouldn't go around feeling guilty about every little thing that we do.
Oh, so you can't sleep at night, so let's blame the so-called religious fanatics.
I didn't say that.
Oh, yes, you did, Alan. Yes, you did.
There goes Miss Christianity again, always knowing what everybody else is doing wrong.
What is with you? Is it my Christianity? Is that it?
No, listen, Alan, we have a martyr here.
No, don't turn away from me. Turn around, look me in the face, and tell me why you have so much against me.
Because you're like my mother.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the synopsis behind Sobbing Stone?
The synopsis behind it is, you know, you can see Twilight Zone-y things are very, they're my favorite kind of stuff, along with things like, you know, romantic stories, you know, things like that. But this one is about a stone that has been found that emits certain sounds from it, and today's technology, for some reason, can't pick it up. So they assign 4 young scientists, sort of psychic research scientists, They're not psychics, just researchers. And their job is to watch the stone round the clock and see if they can piece together the story. And indeed, they end up finding out that it is a story that happened 2,000 years ago. It's a very spooky flavor, and then anyone who's exposed to that stone, once they hear the sound, they're never the same. When they finally piece together the story, they start realizing that because the dominant sound is the sobbing, a man bitterly sobbing. And then they end up discovering that it's from the moment that Judas betrayed Jesus to the moment of the foot of the cross. All of those pieces put together lead up to that moment. And that's what the scare was.
Wow, wow, wow. Excellent, excellent. Now, I do have one question for you. So, I heard a rumor that when outside of filmmaking, you've done some theater work with some relatively big name actors. Why don't you tell us a little something about that?
Yeah, one of my favorite stories is how Samuel L. Jackson got started. I was already a senior in college, a ripe, seasoned actor, and he got into his first production with us. Now, he himself tells the story of how, he got started in this musical comedy called Three Penny Opera. And he was terrible. He was this awful actor with about, the discipline of a snail. In fact, the snail's better. Anyway, however, he also relates how that's the play that changed him. He got bit by the bug, and I'll never forget that almost a year after I graduated, went back and saw him in a rehearsal, and I said, Sam, what's up with this? Because the improvement was humongous, And I said, what's up with this? And he said, oh, I decided this is it. This is going to be my career. And to be honest, it came at an age where, this is 1970, 71, where blacks were still not, we didn't have the Denzel Washingtons.
Right.
And to be honest, I was skeptical. I went, yeah, well, good luck, But look at him today,
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, hindsight's 20/20, right?
Exactly. If I'd have known, But I saw him once, about a dozen years ago at the Urban World Film Festival. And it was the only time I've seen him in person, since our college days. But he was very nice. He was very cordial. He remembered me easily. He was also a member of our swim team. A lot of people don't know he tried to be a competitive swimmer.
And I understand that you were a competitive swimmer as well.
I was.
Jose Delmore mentioned that to me. But we do need to take a break, so we will hear more when we come back.
Right.
Welcome back to Top of the Morning. Kevin Costello and Teena Byrd with our guest, Robert Christy. And Teena, I have a question for you now. You guys have worked together, right?
Yes.
So why don't you let us know just a little bit about what you guys have worked on, your history, any, gossip, backstory stuff. Give us the goods, come on.
Well, I met Robert on the set of Malice Manor Rock concert, and we were both actors in that, and I just fell in love with him immediately because he had on the Marilyn Manson colors, the black suit with the red shirt. And then I got cast in an implied warranty with him, and recently we have discussed bringing up, we're doing a web series. And can you tell us a little bit more about that web series?
The web series is in real life, along with all I do, I'm an actor's trainer as well for film, TV. Been doing that for like 18 years, and one of the ideas that came to me was, what about a kind of 90210 sitcom dramedy feel of a series of a bunch of actors in a workshop, where that's the backdrop, but we're sort of following them along in their love lives, their parents, their schools, because they're all teenagers.
Oh,
See.
teenage actors, yeah.
Yes.
Gold mine of drama.
Gold mine of drama. And initially the series will be 15 minutes each. Cineplex is picking them up for internet-wide distribution. Hopefully it picks up popularity. We go from there, make it into an hour series. And Teena got cast as one of the teachers of the students, of the couple of students.
Congratulations. Glad to hear.
And she was also cast in Implied Warranty, where she's very visible. She's part of the prosecutor's team. So, I mean, without sounding too sappy, I really like the way Teena works because she's everywhere at once. And she doesn't like to reveal that it's hard for her to get around. But the truth is, I admire the heck out of that. How can somebody live so far away and be everywhere at once without much transportation? So she knows how to get. She knows how to get around, you know. So when she tried out for the web series, I knew I had to cast her in something. And she came in with her own little idea of being this teacher, you know, had a monologue, was like very much this almost stoic teacher, you know, and I thought, that's pretty good, I like that one. So I thought, okay, she's one of us.
It was from Good Will Hunting.
That's right, it was Good Will Hunting. But the way you did it, I thought, well, she's got something going.
All right, well, Robert, so not to, get away from your gushing, soliloquies here. We were telling a story about swimming instruction and swimming. Do you want to go back and tell us a little bit more about that one?
Well, raised in Spanish Harlem, you often find a sport that will hopefully someday get you to college. And I was madly in love with swimming as it was from a tiny child. The opportunity finally came to become a competitive one. And so around the age of 11, I joined the local boys club, stayed swimming right in through high school, worked my ducks off to master the Michael Phelps stroke, butterfly stroke. And
Pre-Michael Phelps.
Pre-Michael Phelps, yeah. In our era, the superstar was Mark Spitz. And I wanted to be the next Mark Spitz, But I didn't have the highest grades, and Morehouse College accepts on certain conditions. And one of those was that I had to report to summer school that summer and get A and B in math if I'm going to be accepted by the college. And then the rest would be part scholarship for swimming, things like that. So, long story short, I ended up getting accepted, became their #1 butterflyer, and somewhere in there, Samuel L. joined us. He didn't like swimming. He decided something else was better for him, and I did the entire 4 years there as a competitive swimmer, majored in theater as well. I mean, that kind of education doesn't exist anymore, but it's like so many atrocities, it's a history we should never forget. But that kind of stuff really scared me. Behind the college, there was what was known as a cracker neighborhood. People don't know what a cracker is, by the way. You know what a cracker is?
I know what a cracker is.
No, not only that, they were the ones who in the masters in the fields used to crack the whip on the back. He just did the signs, he knows. On the backs of the slaves who didn't do their work. Anyway, that term stuck to be, a diehard racist. And I used to go back there thinking that, like I did in so many places in New York, I could mix, I was mixing with some of the whites and dating a white girl until one day I brought a black swim team to the pizza parlor that was the hangout and couldn't do it again. They were going to get me. I'm writing a screenplay about those years. The script right now is called Lighter Shade of Gray. It actually plays off the old song Lighter Shade of Pale. The reason for it is that I personally struggle with the fact that to so many people I look white, even Italian, even to my fellow Hispanics. I mean, I can remember in the 60s going to Puerto Rican parties and nobody knew I was Puerto Rican. So it was really that kind of thing. Then the second thing was that my full name is Robert Garcia Christy, but it's actually a change. In the early 70s, I went out hustling around for agents, and the agents said to me this, said when they heard my Bobby Garcia was how I was known. When they heard Garcia, they said, well, we'll call you when there's a Spanish role. And I went, what? I said, do you only call Al Pacino when there's an Italian role? He didn't like that kind of questioning. So that was the end of my being truthful. being true to my name.
Right.
So I decided, you know what, I'm going to try something. And this, I went through that several times. And I said, I'm going to try something different. One of my favorite authors is Agatha Christie. So I decided, I tell you what, I'm Robert Christie now. I walked into an interview and had no problems. Until they said, well, fill out this form and give us your showbiz name and your real name. So I have to go back to Robert Garcia, right? Well, we'll call you when there's a Spanish. You have to be kidding me. I didn't think Hollywood had those prejudices, you know. Well, sure enough, I decided it's going to be a legal change and it's going to be permanent.
Wow.
And that's how I became Robert G. Christie.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's, well, I'll say, that is dedication to the arts, sir.
Right.
And a little bit of getting around the rules.
And
Good
I
on
love
you.
the way that you chose your last name, being a fan of Agatha Christie. My father, if he had a moment for TV, would always say, put a murder on. And you have done a noir or two in your time, haven't you?
Yes. Mhm.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Love those mystery thrillers, you know. I mean, Sobbing Stone has got that mystery thriller feel to it. So does my second film, Shallow Deep. You know, and the very first one was a very spooky thriller, you know, called No Longer My Twin. Now, I had been on the stage for eternity, off-Broadway, training in Atlanta. Theater was everything to me, you know. In fact, I'm now cast in 2 plays with the Heritage O'Neill Theater Company in Silver Spring. A professional troupe that just got, you know, it's a couple of years old. One's called Requiem for a Heavyweight, and the second one's called The Grapes of Wrath. So, mystery was the big thing. Anytime they made a mystery thriller, you know, Alfred Hitchcock, Rod Serling, all of these old timers, that's what I wanted. So my very first film ended up being this very spooky thing that really, being honest, I was so new at it, it wasn't well made, but I had to learn somewhere. Because we didn't have film major in college. So I had to start from scratch, not having a bunch of money to go back to college and so on. Anyway, it's one of my favorites. But I got, you know, heavily into watching a ton of Asian films, and they have this thing about those little romantic things, you know, they're not romantic comedies like ours, and they're not these old dramas like, you know, the old Hollywood, somewhere in between. And the characters, there's something about the way they do it that makes me feel for them. I'm taking my cues off that and wanting to make the films the same way. I'm very convinced that our public is very hungry for just down-to-earth stories of life struggles, whatever that is, and not statements or commercialization, you know? And so I'm going to take my cues from that and prove that that's the case. Because Hollywood is very much into high concept, demographics 25 to 49, as if teenagers don't exist, college people don't exist, and baby boomers don't exist.
Well, they don't spend money like those 25, 49 guys.
Yeah, but there's an audience, and an audience is an audience.
Yeah.
And the best art is, as Robert Christie is exemplifying, I think, made for people who want to experience something sacred, who want to feel something, as opposed to just trying to fit in.
Right, which is a hugely important thing, especially when you're talking about theater, you're talking about film, you know, the emotion that goes into filmmaking as an art rather than, like you were saying with Hollywood, you know, filmmaking as a business.
Filmmaking as a business has, you know, it has its merits. We've got to make a living.
Yeah.
But when the commercial dominates the art, we have a problem.
And do you have a clip for us for any of those, or where we can view those, how we can go about any of your prior films?
Sobbing Stone is easy to find because you put it into a Google search, and it's all over Tarnation.
Yes.
It's sitting on Barnes & Noble, Netflix, Amazon. It's now in downloads. You know, the leading lady in the Sobbing Stone is actually the radio DJ, Fran Lane from Light 102. Yeah.
Really?
She joined the project, you know, much later into the picture. Her husband became the director of photography.
So is there like anyone you don't know in showbiz? I get this feeling that we're just like, all right, yeah, let's talk to Robert Christie. He knows everyone.
What, no, the ongoing joke is he has trained half the actors between Philadelphia and Northern Virginia. I don't know how true that is, but no, I don't know everybody. If I did, I would be the millionaire in Hollywood. You know, certainly I could still be
Doing the
rich anyway.
25 to 49 demographic
Yeah,
charts.
exactly.
Making the next blockbuster.
So I have been lucky enough to meet my good share of people, some of them big names. But you know, name dropping is one thing, getting somewhere is another.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Well, let's hear more about your training. I know on Applied Warranty you were mentioning a particular method of acting. Is there a particular method that you teach, and how can students come to you?
well, a taste of it is, I usually say to the actors, whether it's the workshop we're directing, I say to them, I like to approach it with what I call mental notes. In other words, if you say to yourself, I'm guilty, before the shoot scenes, if you say I'm guilty, it's only a matter of time before you start behaving like it, because we are psychological creatures. And we do that in real life as much as we ignore it, we do it. So if you've got a love scene, you know, it's not even, doesn't even have to be physical, just to be able to say I love you to somebody and mean it and have us buy it, you know, the audience. You should first say to yourself, I love the girl, I love the girl, I love her, I love her deeply, I love her, you see. And then a few seconds, and then the director says, action. Watch miraculously how your behavior starts to change, especially on those close-ups where it catches the batting of an eyelash, you know. Your behavior actually starts, and I demonstrate it all the time when anybody joins my classes. I usually, the first test they get in the first lesson is they have to be in front of the camera doing an improv I call the bank improv, where I play the bank manager off camera. They're on camera, they're guilty of taking money from the drawer, but they have to deny it. That's it, simple notes, mental notes, that's all they have to do. And they want to ask me a dozen questions, and I go, no. If you ask me a dozen questions and I give you a dozen answers, you're not going to remember a thing. You just need to remember one thing. You have a doubt, you have a want, and you have an emotion. You're guilty. That's it. We do it, and you know that in the playback.
That seems like such a difficult thing for an actor to do. It's kind of split the brain between I'm guilty, but I'm convincing everybody around me that I'm not.
Yeah.
It seems like it's so hard.
I just wanted to say, is there you know, a method of contacting you, you know, getting into your classes and things like that? That you want to share with us as we
Yeah, the
come to
easiest
close?
is through the website, which is RC Feature, letter R, letter C, feature.com. From there, they can click on various pages, which includes, by the way, there's a whole page on not only the workshops with edited scenes on the page. There's about 8 or 10 edited scenes of actors actually memorize scenes and so forth, because it's also scene study. And then there's also a click page on Morehouse College with photos of the era.
Robert, I wanted to ask you, so, you know, obviously here we are in Baltimore, it's top of the world. How has it been acting in the Baltimore community and, you know, finding talent here, using the resources that are available? Why don't you tell us a little bit about working in Charm City?
Well, here they have, like pretty much anywhere else, you have either extreme, either you get the extremely dedicated actors or you get the ton of wannabes. And one of the problems that I see in the industry as a whole is that, you know, if the ceiling here is the standard of what an A-list quality production should be, we seem to almost forget it and not aim for it. Aim for it and get there 60% is better than aim for nothing and get 0. So our problem is that we have an industry loaded with lazies, while at the same time, the good news is that we can at least sift between the really good ones and the, you know, wannabes. And unfortunately, some of the good talents are also kind of lazy. So you end up with the problem of, okay, so here I have this person extremely talented and not so dedicated, and this one's mediocre and will kill herself for a chance. Now, given that I train actors and I know how to get the best out of them, I would rather go with the dedicated mediocre one and aim to get them to be A-list than to hang on to this, diva who really
We are
isn't.
totally not naming any names
No
on the show,
names.
by the way, so feel free to discuss.
And, there's a local name here, now an Emmy winner by the name of Johnny Alonso. And
See, we
Johnny.
just said we're not naming names. Go
See,
naming
well, I
names.
mean, I'm
At least
naming-
it was for a good thing.
But I'm doing it for good reason. Johnny is somebody who is absolutely everywhere at once. If there's anything you can learn from that young man, is hustle. And that's the reason I like him so much. And then to boot, he is a decent actor. And they're the ones, by the way, we hire over and over and over, according to what they fit. So now what I'm doing is, this is the first time with my web series, which is, by the way, called Lights, Camera, Life, is the name of the web series for the teens. Now I'm having to do something I hadn't done in quite a while, is it's cast teens. And because one of the lead role is a Chinese girl, you see, which is one that has to be, just got off mainland, has the accent, knows Chinese. It's not an easy thing.
And is an actress and
Right, as
yeah.
an actress. So
Good luck casting. Yeah.
we got some great talents around. But now I have to scout the teens.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Robert. And just before we get out of here, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you'd like to share with the city?
Keep the hustle. That's it for me, the hustle. As soon as I see you hustling like crazy, I like you.
There we go. Well, thank you so much for coming.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
That's great.
And from the top of the world, it's Kevin Costello.
Teena Byrd and Christy.
Thank you so much. Take care, Baltimore.
Dad, I hear my feelings.
That's impossible.
Give us the money!